That craft.
That craft.
That craft.
That craft.
It's the real Negus and we back.
We are back.
That craft.
That craft.
That craft.
That craft.
HBO got a show about blacks.
And it's not whack. It's over, but it's not whack.
Right. This was season 1, episode 10, the finale, season finale. They are promising to bring, I'm assuming they're gonna bring another season back. Otherwise, it would have been the series finale. This was not my favorite episode, Mike. I got it. Let me put that out there.
I figured that it was so, when you lay so much pipe, it is, you got to tie all the ends up together, man. And it can look sometimes mechanical instead of like inspiring and giving us those feelings that all of the episodes, other previous episodes gave us. But at the end of the day, you're telling a story and you got to give an end to the story. And sometimes you got to sacrifice like emotion for the mechanics of the story.
No, man, but they came so far throughout. Like we literally been on a journey this whole season. Many of us trying to go back through this thing and figure out what the hell did we just watch. I felt like if you make it all the way through, everything that they've been through this season, like you could stand a little stab, rip your arm and bleed out.
Yeah.
You could still be alive after that, Mike.
Yeah. I'm sad, of course, that Tick is dead, but I don't, like, you got to sacrifice somebody, man. Like that is the ultimate, game ender when the main character dies. The first person the camera landed on in the series was Tick, and he's gone. And I think, when you play in a high stakes game, somebody like you got to sacrifice.
So I'm trying to figure out, like, what did I have a problem with the most? I don't feel like, I feel like once they got the book, they could have done anything they wanted. But that's how I felt. Like I know that they ended up driving back to Artem and voluntarily, submitting yourself for this experiment, for this white folks class experiment. And I just felt like they could have just stayed at the crib and studied a little harder.
Yeah,
then you wouldn't even need to go.
Well, see, I think most people's problem with this is going to be twofold, right? First of all, like, they really didn't have to go once they had the book. That's the problem, right? Like, right. Why? It's really no logical explanation for Tick to have gone there, except, like, I just want them to leave my family alone. You know what I'm saying? Right. They could stab that bitch when she was at the office. You know what I'm saying? Like, there really wasn't. And the other thing is, right, so the plot, sometimes when you watch this show, it is so good, right? So in having written and kind of writing now for television, one of the questions they ask you is, what is the tangible thing that the story is going to, or what are they trying to get? What is the get in the episode, right? Or in the series. And the problem with this whole series is that it was so good that you almost forgot that they're like the Book of Adam and magic and shit was their ultimate goal, was to get the Book of Adam to stop something from the autumnal equinox. Like, all of that shit was like on the side, because really, man, to me, it was just, the journey wasn't about magic or, finding the Book of Adam. That was just some bullshit to let us watch some good ass TV and to see, like, in these last couple episodes, my main concern was they got to fix D arm, bro. They got to get Lil Wayne up out of D and fix her arm, you know.
Right.
So all of that other shit was on the side because the episodes were so good, and each episode was like a microcosm of storytelling excellence in itself that you kind of almost didn't give a fuck about the Book of Adam and this autumnal equinox and this spell and all of that bullshit. So, like, for the last episode to revolve around that, you'd be like, oh yeah, that is what they was trying to do the whole time.
They didn't say that. Did they say the autumnal equinox at the beginning?
Well, about 2-3 episodes ago, they start mentioning the autumnal equinox.
It was like they was giving us like Emmett Till, Bessie Stringfield, you know, this whole journey into Black history. And then they was like, oh shit, like we actually gotta like wrap this story up, bro. Like,
yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened, man. Like, it was too much at the end. They like slow walked us through history and culture and astronomy and science fiction and Afro-punk. And then at the last episode, they're like, oh shit, let's wipe this shit up, okay?
Like, I hate to be so critical, but like, you gave us Hippolyta, you gave us the transformation into Arinthia Blue, and like she ain't have no powers. Did they forget to give her powers?
She didn't even have the USB plugs in her arm anymore, man.
That's what I'm saying. I thought she was at least gonna poot on him or something, man.
Yeah,
like,
man.
She got jumped at
I mean, she could fight a little bit with the pitchfork, man. But that's about it.
Yeah, I was yeah, man. I don't know how I felt about this one.
Her power was blue hair, man.
But I will say this: we found out why they call her Hippolyta.
You stupid. You stupid. You're so disrespectful, man. That's somebody's mother. She is a mother. That's what you always say when you talk about like to get somebody. She is a mother.
Right. No, that was an auntie, bro. That was like tried and true auntie right there. Yeah. That's some hips. She got them childbearing hips. That's
she got that. She Hippolyta always looked like she had the authority to bring the macaroni to Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, man. She definitely picks out the Thanksgiving menu.
Yeah.
She get final say on that, bro.
Yeah.
You ain't running up in here with no dry ass okra.
Nah.
Your shit gotta marinate. You know what I mean? Yo, I would tell you this, Mike. I'm really sad to see Tick go. But like just the last maybe 4 episodes, we didn't really get a lot of Tick. We didn't get as much Tick as we got Tick's faces. And I'm not gonna miss Tick's faces.
Yeah, he is like his whole demeanor is I'm gonna scrunch up my mouth to keep from crying. Like, go ahead and cry, man. Like, he wanna be hard, but he ain't hard. But Montrose used to beat him when he cried, so he can't cry, so he got to scrunch up his face. So the whole episode it was
like, just let it go at this point, fam. Yeah, ain't nobody gonna judge your ass.
Yeah, he could have done like that dude did at on Intervention when they told him he was gonna they was here for intervention.
Oh.
Yeah, he should have done that.
Yo, man, I didn't really like how this wrapped up. I mean, like, I don't think that they developed Dee's character enough, or did they? Did they develop her character enough to give her the Christina kill scene?
No, they didn't do that, man. I guess she had been through a lot of trauma. Plus, like, she really kind of came out of nowhere. She was an ancillary character. Then, she had her own episode, but like, there was no motivation in her character arc for any of the stuff that she did in this episode. I don't understand why she got the control of the monster. Where the hell she got that arm from?
Right.
Right. Like, I don't understand. Like, we know what she eventually does it with the arm in the future is send Tick back to say, but I don't understand what the hell. Like, did the monster give her an arm? I don't know, man. Any of that. I don't know why she would get control of the bullet head. That's what his name is. That's what I call him.
Yeah, Bullethead came through, and helped out in the car and everything. But more so, I think her arm came from like the orrery. Like, what point is having the orrery now? Like, she may have like
but she didn't have the arm when she was sitting in the car, did she?
Yeah, it was covered up.
Oh,
remember when she walked in the room? Her mama said she had something for her.
Yeah,
like she had like it sounded like a Lego playset, just from like the commercials and everything. Like the sounds it was making in the room. They could have showed us the room.
Yeah, man. They spent a lot of budget on that. On this episode, a lot of CGI budget. It's like the dragons in Game of Thrones. You can't have them in every episode because she turned into the black powder. She turned into charcoal dust at the bottom of the grill in this episode. She so that was some CGI money right there.
Yeah, the arm was definitely CGI.
Yeah.
Well, no, that could have been real. That could have been real. They probably told her like to be a method actor and don't use any lotion on her arm for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And then they used a lot of CGI budget on the when the mamas and Hannah and all of those had to turn into like they went to wherever the Avengers went when Thanos killed them. Remember? So they used a lot of CGI budget on that.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of CGI, bro.
Yeah, I mean it was it was a wild episode. I got tired of them. So if anything, if we're talking about character development, if anything, they could have set up Dee to be the villain for next year because of how much they leave her by herself. They ain't never with this bitch. Like, you got you got the white man putting spit on her forehead. You got her hanging.
You think she the villain?
No, I'm saying if anything, as far as character development, like we didn't get a real emotional tie to her hating Christina like that. I don't know. Like I don't. They didn't bring up any of this like on the trip there. Like they could have like prompted her and was like, look,
at least
it's gonna be monsters coming out the ground.
At least get them telling her, oh, that's the bitch that killed your daddy.
Yeah, but like she didn't kill her daddy.
Well, they family killed your daddy.
Yeah, I mean, I know
that magic.
I know, but like that's so it's so incongruent to me. Like, I
don't know why she killed. Like, has she ever met Christina?
Nah, that's what I was saying. Like, how did Christina even know her? But then I remember Ruby brought Christina over there because that bitch was pussy whip, trying to get her to put the spell on her.
And then she might remember when she went to find out what was up, like why they was the monsters was chasing her. Maybe the police officers told her about Christina. I don't know, man. Like I just don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it was a lot of inconsistencies for a show that was. I mean, it was wild. It was a jumbled kind of. It was like, all right, we're gonna ride with this because they got black people.
There was some whole plot lines.
Black history.
There was some whole plot lines that could have been like the whole police side plot or subplot. Like they didn't like. I don't even see why that was in the show now. If it was not gonna play a part in the outcome, why even put that part? Like the dude half black, and then he got dudes locked up in his closet, and then that shit don't matter.
Yeah, man, Mike, you just hit on something. Like, so to build on your point, right? Because yes, like I felt like the police should have played a larger role. This man had soldiers in different cities. He had
Yeah.
the man in the closet. The office was stinking. They had, remember they had the little private meeting that
Yeah.
Ruby had to be the waitress for. But bro, I'm gonna tell you something that like really pissed me off. And it go back to last week's episode with the matriarch. I forgot it. Is it Hattie? Was that her
Hannah.
name? Well,
Hannah.
Hannah is the old lady. I mean, it's the mama.
You mean
But
Chick
who?
Mom? Oh, you talking about Montrose like grandaunt or somebody. Like
Yeah,
the one who was burned
who
up.
got burned up? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So wait, this is what I was gonna say. So she got like I got a serious problem with this one. Like they show her getting burned up. And remember I was saying they would never do this to Betty White.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's the optics of it, right? So then this episode, we get Christina in the form of Ruby fighting Letty.
Mm.
So now you got two black women on stage, on the screen fighting each other. When we know that it's actually the white woman, show the white woman, show her throwing them blows. Because Letty got some punches in.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Sweet character, but show the white woman.
Yeah, I think you had to show Ruby, right? Because it was like a culmination of the existential battle between Letty and Ruby, right? That they were always fighting, but they were always really fighting somebody else. Like they were fighting their mama, they were fighting Christina. They were never really fighting each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm saying like
I
you
think that
know
was
how.
I think that was one part I didn't have a problem with. Like that metaphor of them fighting somebody else. But the only thing I had a problem with that. Because plus, like if they'd have showed Christina, man, later would have whipped that bitch ass, like little skinny bitch ass. You know what I'm saying?
But show it though. Show that. Give me that. Like, cause that's who the big bad is. Or at least punch Ruby face so hard that
That
Christina busts out.
Some of that Ruby fall off.
Don't throw the bitch out the window.
Yeah, I mean, if she fall off in the elevator, she must be have that extra strength Robitussin elixir for that one. Because Ruby, when she took the elixir, she couldn't keep her shit on in the elevator outside the club. But Christina can fight and all of that shit.
That's what I'm saying. She was moving, you know what I'm saying? That's some extra weight on her, you know what I mean? Like, so she was moving like a heavyweight, but I'm just saying,
but
like,
man, but a lot of that is due to like Ruby was when she was transforming to the white woman, that white woman's skin fall off easy. But you know what they say, black don't crack. So, when she had Ruby.
Like, you stupid for that one. You stupid for that one.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I left this episode more frustrated, and it made me kind of revisit some thoughts that I had kind of going into this final episode.
Man, I was just happy. Like, if I would have gotten a emotional episode but didn't tie up the loose ends, I probably would have been more upset. I just like, to me, it tied up the loose ends. It was more mechanical. It didn't give me the satisfaction that it was probably, I would say, my least favorite episode of the whole season, but I wouldn't say it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would call it bad per
It's
se.
like they had a bunch of leftover special effects money, and they maybe thought they was going to do 11 episode season. It's like, oh shit, we got to put everything in this. I just, from a storytelling standpoint, there was just a lot of stuff in during the season that they could have left out because it wasn't important in the final episode, in the final part of the story. Like the whole police being involved with magic didn't make any sense. Like, to me, like, okay, I know it was a great episode, but the fact that Montrose cut that bitch, a rapper chick throat, man, I don't understand why they even went through that when it didn't make sense. Montrose cut the woman's throat, Arawak woman's throat, right? There was no consequence. Everybody's like, oh, how they gonna get the book of Adam now? How they gonna speak the language? And then there was no consequences. It was like they did that whole episode that Indiana Jones go through the jungle, say the chick.
Yeah.
And then he cut the woman's throat, and it was no I thought, well, that's gonna come back later in the series to bite him. But it makes no sense. That whole episode now, looking back, makes no sense because they didn't do anything with the woman. It's like she existed for Montrose to cut her throat, and that's it.
That's it. And like, or I get, well, I think what they wanted to show you was that they tried this binding spell, but they didn't really like build up like the real explanation for like why this binding spell was so important. Like the only thing that it ended up being was like just for like selfish reasons for this chick Christina to like go on this feminist journey that she was on, or however you want to categorize it. Like it was her own personal ambition that she cloaked into a lot of different reasons, from feminism to just trying to fight for like all of these things that was
she was just
only
in the end, she was just a white woman, right?
She was just a white woman.
She was just a woman who like wanted, like, white women will sacrifice. That was important for that scene when she came to the office and everybody was sitting there. She was like, I mean, I don't want to kill him, but I mean, you got to understand, I've been trying to do this shit for a long time, and then he just a byproduct of the shit that I want. Like, if he got to die for me to be happy, why y'all mad?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was like even in this episode, you know, like when she walks in, she got on she was wearing the black homecoming outfit. I don't know if you peeped her outfit when she walked. She just stormed into the store.
Yeah.
And was just like throwing around her privilege. And ultimately she ended up getting the book back. Like she came in asking for the book, and then what? You know what I'm saying? Like she got the book.
She didn't get the book?
Well, not at that point, but she ended up getting it like later on. Like she just got everything she wanted. And I got tired of seeing that, like the whole show. Like it was just that. For the most part.
Man, but that's how white women live, though. Like that was real. That was real. Like if it was the real world, though, the white woman would have won at the end. So we got that.
Well, I get that, but then like so.
Like the only thing it was basically white womanhood versus black girl magic. I mean that's what the theme of the show was. That's what the theme was. Like I don't understand the whole point of them bringing back the old white man. Like, except for Tick to, you know, cut a pork chop out of him. You know that was just like then they just had a regular old pork chop. And
they for real had a pork chop.
Right,
they pulled a pork chop out, bro, and put hot sauce on it.
All that special effects money, and they just ended up like, you got to eat this raw pork chop in the forest.
I'm saying, like, this episode was trash, fam. Like, real talk, bro. Like, I'm trying.
But you know, pork is the other white meat.
But that wasn't even a good pork chop. Like that's the pork chop you get from Winn-Dixie.
That was the thing. Yeah, that was the cookout when you go into a cookout in the hood, and they talking about, we got some pork chops on here, but it don't be nothing but them 7 pork chops in the pack for like $18.
Nah, that's them breakfast cut pork chops.
Yeah, that's
that they have at Piggly Wiggly
at Waffle House. That's what they serve you at Waffle House.
That's what they give you at Waffle House, and they don't even cook it right at Waffle House. They don't put no flour on it. Like you ain't
No.
got no skin. You gotta have the skin when you cook it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you like to have your pork chop, Mike,
I
but
don't eat pork chops, but I mean, I know what you're talking about.
yeah. I hadn't had it in a while, but yeah, but nah, man. Like I'm really trying to like, you know, I want to find the comedy in this episode or the enjoyment, but like, I think my final straw was when Kamiho was sitting there chilling, and then she was like, "I got to get to them steps." Like, bitch, you got to fucking
Yeah, you got 9 tails, and she wasn't no
yo.
good on the bridge when the white people came with the pitchforks, man.
That's what I'm
Like I'm
saying. It
saying, I
just
know Camille about to fuck shit up with all them tails, and she gonna fight, and then she gonna say, "I'm gonna save my tails for later on."
and then what? She stands in front of a cloud, Mike. I mean, I know that was
I
that
still don't
like
understand that, like what the go to the darkness thing. Like
because
maybe,
that didn't even connect.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I don't know. Like that part was so. I don't think I've ever used this in a sentence, but I think that was very fugazi. I think that's the proper word to use with seeing her run and get in front of like Tick's exhaust pipe smoke. That was
yeah,
his big rims, loud pipes, and he was out of here.
yeah.
And she stood in front of it and connected with them, and
I
then
don't
he
know, man.
dies, and then old girl lived long enough just to get her throat ripped out
So did
by
Tick turn
old
her
girl.
into a regular girl? Because
So that
she had to take one more soul, didn't she, for her to be a regular person? So
but
did Tick take her into the?
now I remember a couple episodes she said that she had fulfilled her obligation to it,
But she
but
was
she
still.
decided to stay in there, right?
I don't know, man. Like I mean, I wouldn't get rid of my tails after I lived it. Like I was, she already looked like a regular woman, so I keep my tails.
Right. And I'm saying if you got 9 tails, and like you just gonna sit there and be held hostage by a white man with a pitchfork. You got not like he could stab 2 of your tails
Bruh, if she'd
and
have
you
pulled them
still
tails
got
out,
7.
they'd have dropped them pitchforks and start running. Like you
That's
ain't
what
gonna
I'm
just fight. If you got a pitchfork and you just see a tail coming out of somebody 6, let's say she just pull out 6 or 4, right? 3.5 tails. You gonna stand there and hold the pitchfork, or you gonna fight?
that's what I'm saying. You're gonna let that thing fly.
Yeah.
Did it have to be triggered or something? Like, did she need to like try to flirt with the white man in order to trigger it and pop it out, and then she go like how does
I don't
it
know,
work?
man. I don't know, man. Maybe she needs some. I don't know, man. I have
Because
no
I thought
idea.
it was
Maybe she
triggered
needs
by
some
sex.
exhaust.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was triggered by sex. So did she like run ticks like exhaust smoke up in her one more time before you went out of here?
I don't know how she did it that time. Or maybe because she ain't the Kamiho no more. She can control her tails whenever she wants to.
Yeah, I don't know, Mike. That was I mean it was a lot, man. I want to kind of go through here and pick apart this episode. I mean, we doing it now, but like
Yeah.
if you want to start at the beginning, uh another thing, Mike. God dog, I hate when people go to alternate dimensions and you talk to somebody that died 40 years ago or however long, 30 years ago, and you tell them no. Like you in a flashback scene and you got the opportunity to like do something great. Letty went back and was talking to the matriarch,
Yeah.
the lady who got burned up. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, Mike,
Her name
I
is Rose.
remember
Her name Rosa for
Rosa, that's her
Roaster.
name. Rosa
Roaster.
Parks.
Roaster Parks.
Roaster. Yo, I know I recognize her from.
What?
She was Danny Roman's wife in The Negotiator when Samuel Jackson played Danny Roman. I was like, damn, I seen her somewhere before. and she played in the Negotiator.
Damn. You know them all, bro. Congratulations. I give you. I got
Oh man, I know my black characters, bro. She but nah, man, she went back and was talking to Letty, and Letty telling her no.
Telling her
Like,
no
no, I
about what?
won't do this. What the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
You're like, hey man, I brought you all the way back through time, space, and a whole nother portal
you know,
with fire around us, but you not even sweating and your makeup ain't even dripping to tell you you need to study this book and let it be like, nah, I don't fuck with that. No. Listen, to protect our family, you gotta study this book. Now I know I came through time, space, and all that bullshit, but nah, I'm not gonna do this. Listen, I done bought you here, bitch. Didn't you see me burn up like a week ago?
right.
Let's study this. All right, man. I see what I can do.
Yo, man, that was crazy. That part was crazy, man. I mean, I don't understand how you do that. And another thing I don't understand is when you've been dead for like centuries, right?
Mm.
And I actually I DM'd Roy Wood Jr., a friend of the show. This it turned out to be a really funny joke that I just kind of thought of on the whim. But like, when you die, like, do you die wearing the same clothes? I mean, do you live life eternally with the same clothes that you died wearing, or do you like get to do like a little wardrobe change?
Now
Because like,
I think they got like all the stores in heaven, but then when living people come over, you got to change back into your living clothes because they probably got some shit like you know that lady probably in heaven with some tights on, some Daisy Duke, because you could be anything you want to, man.
yeah,
She
like,
probably got yams in there, man. So she probably walk around in Daisy Dukes and some high heels and a midriff top. But then when the living people come over, you got to make yourself look presentable and matronly, because you ain't gonna take no magic advice from somebody wearing no damn booty shorts. So you know what I'm saying? You got to wear something with some lace on it when the living people come over.
so you think she like at that point when Hannah died, like she had her slave clothes on, but then when it was time to have devotion, she had she had like a whole new outfit.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
how many? I'm trying to figure out how many outfits did she have? Do you have access to like travel through time and pick out like different, like, do you go to the 90s? Do you go to the 70s, get some bell bottoms?
Bro,
Or
you got to think about it. All the fashion designers who ever lived is up there with you. So you can get whatever clothes you want to, man. And then you got to realize the streets are paved with gold. So you don't even got to worry about no damn money. So yeah, man. Like, but then you know what I'm saying. So you probably got some old, you got to wear your slave clothes when living people come over, because you can't let them know you in heaven wearing some damn jogging suits all the time. Like, I wouldn't be wearing shit, but some gym shorts and jogging pants if I was in heaven. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
All the newest Adidas, but the light was with the boost soles, man. But you know what I'm saying? When company come over, I put on some Stacey Adams.
yeah. I was really kind of thinking about, like, even if you wearing your I hate to call them slave clothes. What's the real name for it, Mike?
Slave clothes.
do you, do you,
They slave
it
clothes,
gotta
bro.
be a name. A nurse
They
thing?
slave clothes.
Can we just say so? I don't know. But like, is the material breathable? Like, did they have
Oh, it's
dry
cotton,
fit?
bro. It's that same cotton you pick, bro. It's cotton. It's
But I'm
breathable.
saying like, but you ain't. That don't mean that you have to wear the thick cotton now that you passed away. Like, you could get the dry fit,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
moisture wick.
So you
You know?
saying that slaves would have rather worn some they would have whether was some dry fit, what's the brand name that make the good dry fit?
I mean, so Nike got the good stuff. You know what I mean?
No, Under Armour. Slave, I don't think Slave
Oh
wore
yeah.
Under Armour, bro.
But I'm saying like now she got like access to that. Like, oh man, let me, fast forward to 2012 when it first hit the streets.
I mean, but you gotta like. I mean, I'm sure no woman in heaven wears a bra. Like, why would you wear a bra in heaven?
Yeah, I don't. I agree with you, and I think them things was very loose. I don't. Did they have bras? I don't think they
Yeah, they
had
had
bras.
bras.
They had bras and slave. Well, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the slaves went bra shopping, but there was
Did they have the
bras existed
strapless?
for a long time, man.
Did they
Bras has
have
been like the bustiers and all of that shit back then.
Did they have the underwire?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how they were manufactured. I really still don't know a lot about bra technology, but I'm sure it's been around for a long time.
I would say this, Mike. For the single fellas that watch this show, I've been saying this for years. Stop. I mean, like if you really want to impress a woman, buy her a bra. Like bras are like, and don't get like the cheap bra, because it really ain't no cheap bra. Like probably the cheapest bra is like $40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but if you want your girl titties to be supported, you're gonna have to break out like the $89 bra with now they got them with the moisture wick, so she won't have sweaty titties in the summer. And you know what I'm saying? Like ball out and you'll go a long way with a woman. But you know what I'm saying? That's just a brief understanding of women's garments that I do have. But I mean, like I just like, but even as we talk about Hannah, you got Tick Mama had the regular outfit on. She had the bowling alley outfit on.
Nah, she just had on the regular old, like she going to a job interview. It really wasn't past this anniversary dress up.
She had on the I work at Enterprise Rent-A-Car outfit.
Yeah, something like that. She had a
nameplate on it and everything.
She had the outfit where not the one at the front desk at the doctor's office, but you go into the little smaller waiting room once they call your name. She had the woman who worked there, she don't take insurance cards and stuff like that. She asks you your personal information, like what medications you on, stuff like that.
Yeah, she like the I feel you. She the one.
She had a middle management outfit on.
A very, very middle management outfit. Yes. I wonder.
She was a district manager.
Nah, she wasn't district manager.
She was a regional regional undersecretary.
She was so you so you got a property manager, and then you got the person who she was at admin. She was an admin assistant one outfit.
I think she's admin too.
Nah, you saw the crease in those pants. Like she's still trying to impress folks to get that raise to get up to 2. But no, man, so another gripe about the show was, well, I'm gonna go into 2. One, what did you think about the musical choices?
I didn't recognize that rap song that they were playing when they were. Then I'm trying to think of the musical choice. I kind of liked the song that they played. Who they played, the Nina Simone song. Okay, yeah, I liked that Nina Simone song.
What Nina Simone song?
They played a Nina Simone song.
Well, I'm more so talking about throughout the course of the show, the season.
Oh, I mean, the whole season, you mean? Or just this
because like like what I'm saying, I'm basically saying like I didn't like Cardi B had a song being played for that scene. That was another rap song. I like
Yeah,
you. I didn't recognize that rap song. I mean, if anything, like if you're gonna play a rap song, like play something we know. You know what I mean?
yeah, but
But
I think I don't know, man. I kind of like that, like switching it up like that to give us the vibe because like 1950s music was kind of boring, and
I mean, I get, but I mean, there was some popping black music, like, or well, no, I mean, yeah, it was some popping black music, but
like
it's
what,
like, huh? They
like
had
what, some
my
Elvis,
man,
some Little Richard.
yeah, they had the Tutti Frutti in the episode one time.
Yeah, man. But I'm saying I like it
Tutti
wasn't
Frutti
no
was
gangster
busting
shit
back
back.
then, Mike.
Like the stuff that was gangster shit back then, we would laugh at as being gangster now. So I like
Tutti
how they
Frutti
mix.
was gangster. Like
I know it was a gangster then, but it ain't gangster
niggas
now.
would
It
toot
don't.
your
It
fruit
don't.
if you looked at them wrong.
mm, It
Niggas would.
doesn't. It doesn't get that feeling across to an audience now. So I like the mixing of the hip hop and new genres of music in the episode.
What I think I would have liked it more if they had kind of explored the time travel element of it. Like at least like if we saw, I mean, damn, they ain't even give us Tick going into the future. Like if Tick went into the future and like he did and then heard a song and then brought that back
No,
and then it
I like that.
represented like a ripping in the space-time continuum or something.
Nah, I think that'd have been too on the nose. I really like the anachronism of putting like today's music with like that shit. Like if you'd have had Beyonce singing, it wouldn't have been a problem. I think just because it was hip hop. So I like that. Like there's some
Yeah,
feeling that hip hop elicits that no other kinds of music elicits. So I don't have a problem with that. Like it
I
didn't
mean,
take me out of the scene.
yeah, I don't know. That like even going back watching Christina play Rihanna, like it just felt weird. But the other thing was getting to Ruby. I saw the turn coming. Like I actually like I peeped that like a mile away. But that still don't.
I mean, I told y'all that last week. Like Ruby was
Oh
gonna
yeah,
try
yeah,
to.
yeah,
Yeah, I said it last week that Ruby was
yeah.
gonna try to save him, and they was gonna put her. Like that was telegraphed because they were gonna put her in a coma because like we didn't know nobody was in a coma until last week. Like we just thought these she had took motherfuckers' skins and turned motherfuckers into them. And all of a sudden last week we found out these motherfuckers in comas. And I was like, oh, they're gonna put Ruby in the coma. I mean, we knew she was gonna really be play. I said last week she was just playing like she liked old girl, but she was gonna come around to her damn senses. I mean,
But
Ruby took one for the team. She kissed a white
as
girl in the mouth to get that blood from her sister. Man, that's taking that's she. Ruby really sacrificed more than Tick. All Tick had to do was get his arms cut, man. She kissed that white girl in the mouth.
I ain't gonna say that, Mike. I ain't gonna go that far. You going too far. But
Bruh.
she definitely took one for the team. But is it technically taking one from the team if you actually enjoyed it?
I don't know if she enjoyed it though. How do you know
She
she
didn't
enjoyed it?
enjoy
She was doing
she
that shit for she said this was her first time. She liked William. I always got the feeling that Ruby was in love with William, and she didn't really like Christina that much. In fact, like the complex thing with Ruby to me is that she really hated Christina and liked William, and just was waiting for that William to come out of Christina, because you could tell to me she kind of hated Christina, which is why she had to take one for the team and kiss that bitch in the mouth.
but she was literally willing to have sex with Christina in order to get to William. and William ain't real.
But she ain't really never had sex with Christina. That was her first time tonight. This episode, man, it was
No,
always William.
no, I'm saying like she was always like you just said, like she was with Christina physically, like just hanging out with her, riding shotgun like Tupac and Suge.
Yeah.
And all of that initially was like, hey, you gonna bring William back out? I wanna like get some more of that white dick.
Yeah.
And that part was so weird, man. I actually got it playing in the background right now, and I'm looking at this scene. It's the fighting scene again, and I'm just saying, like that was a wild scene. I did not like that. And then they kept showing the Negro travel guide. Was that because the book had gotten published, or had it already been published?
I think that was a new episode that remember when George died, they kept working on the episode, on the new volume. Yeah, because
so that's what that was. Yeah, that's what I felt like it was. Yeah.
So they was waiting for it to come back to the publisher, and they was putting it in the gas station.
Right. Yeah, but so we went from that, and then we got this minority people of color bus ride to Artem. Like you had your Black female business owner, you had the LGBT of Ruby and Montrose. Then you had the Asian aspect with Gia, and then you had the single Black mother, and now you had all the boxes checked.
Yeah, you had a handicap.
You had a handicap. All Joe Biden got to do is just say, "Stop, let me pander to you."
Ice Cube was out there fighting for him, though.
Ice Cube was right there, man. He was right there. I was trying to figure out, like, when they drove to Artem, how did everybody get separated? Like, they just, like, on one scene, we just saw Montrose, and we saw...
everybody had jobs to do, right? So, Montrose was in charge of the salt.
Yeah, he put the Epsom salt down.
Yeah.
What was the purpose of the Epsom salt?
Because they couldn't get out. It was like a barrier, supposed to be.
Was it?
It was
a barrier for who?
So Christina couldn't escape, right? Because just like they thought the white man couldn't escape without outside of the salt. Then you had Tick in charge of the pork chops and the hot sauce. Then everybody else had to put up those little blood symbols on the shit. Like, none of that shit really mattered. I guess it was just to give people something to do, or for a reason for them to be there. Because it seemed like to me, Montrose and Tick could have gone up there by themselves and painted some symbols on the post and put down some salt.
Right. But like what was the conversation like with Dee being left in the car? Did they literally just give her this little bit of comic book to read and drop the off in the middle
Maybe she had some
woods?
more episodes of the comic books, man, but that was a little bit of comic book. And
they ain't telling about the little monsters.
Like the time of the year it was, man. It wasn't. They had the windows rolled down. I know they didn't have PSAs back then about, the dangers of leaving a child in the car. But did they have the windows rolled down, man? They should really. They was up.
They was up because the show golf could have jumped in and grabbed her, but he busted when he bit the dough off.
Yeah,
and then the bullet head pulled up. Now bullet head was I'm assuming that. Oh wait, Mike, this is another part that didn't make sense, right? Where were they going on the elevator? Remember when they got in the elevator at the crib?
Yeah, they went down into the annals, and That's where they had the ceremony for the ancestors and the white man. They had
that's right.
yeah,
That's right. You're right.
when they
You're
had
right.
they hold the hold hands in prayer and bring forth
Yeah.
the ancestors.
Okay.
They had a prayer circle.
That's right. That's where they had devotion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Ruby had on her
Yeah,
her
flyers.
nurses. She had on her nurse's Guild outfit
Yeah.
walking through. I was like, did she just put
Well,
this
I was
on when
wondering
she
why
come
she had
from
a like. Was
church?
that a kind of a hat people used to wear back then? Because I didn't know why she had a nurse's hat on, man. Like I didn't understand what that was about either. Was that a
She
did people wear those hats back then other than nurses?
I don't know, but I always want. Did you have a nurses guild at your church growing
No,
up? You
no,
didn't?
no.
Like my grandmama and like a bunch of like the old ladies in church, they were like the nurses guild.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you really think about it, that meant that if somebody passed out in church, that's who like the nurses guild was spring into action, right?
But was the nurses guild nurses?
Nah, they just wore like white hat and then a cape on a certain Sunday.
But they
But
didn't have no
like
nurses training or anything. They didn't take CPR lessons on Tuesdays.
no,
Wait a minute.
but
Hold on.
wait, but like
Hold on. I don't think you might be like you might not have gone to the Nurses Guild meetings, man. Because you tell me they
no,
call themselves the Nurses Guild. They
yes,
wore nurses uniforms, but didn't
yes,
have no nurse credentials.
no, and then if it
They
was
just
your,
said the Lord gonna endow me with my nursing ability.
but then you had a certain Sunday to be a nurse. But like if somebody passed out
See, man, I
right
think
next to you,
I think you might not have been around for their training and all the
they
summer
didn't
training.
have, they didn't have training. You gonna make me ask my mom this, but no, they ain't have no training.
Man, I'm telling you, your grandma knew CPR or something, man.
No. She just had only thing she had was some peppermints.
She, she knew. I don't believe
And
it.
she had peppermints and tissue.
I
And
don't believe it.
that's what they would do. If you cried in church, they'd go get the tissue
I know
off
they
the
take
back
off your
row.
glasses when you get the Holy Ghost and put the towel
She
around
ain't
you.
even my grandmama wasn't that one. She let the ushers do that. That's too
So what
close.
was the nurses? So if you pass out, you know, if in my church, if you pass out, because sometimes people pass out because the Holy
Mhm.
Spirit, and sometimes your sugar got low. It was always one person who had low sugar, and they'll pass out every
And
now
they
and then.
and they'll give you some crackers and some
Yeah,
juice.
and they'll pray you back to life. But we didn't have a
Nah,
nurses guild, man.
nah, the nurses gives us set in the back. They sat in the back on the right side of the church, and it was just on that Sunday, on that particular Sunday. And if something happened to you, bro, like they'll pray over you. Like that was
Yeah.
it. Like they wouldn't
Well,
finna
they
like.
prayed over you if you fainted at my church, but we didn't have no nurses guild. We just had regular unsanctioned prayer.
Yeah, bro. We had a whole nurses guild.
I think you need to revisit that with
They
your mom, man, and see what kind of training the nurses guild. I believe you discriminate against the nurses guild and try to erase their legacy, man. That's erasure because
no,
they had probably had some kind of medical training.
they had no medical training. The best thing they'd do is give you some Vicks Vapor Rub. My grandma would give you that, and she'll put it over around the corners of your nose. And now,
Right.
if you look at any Vicks Vapor Rub bottle, it puts in bold letters, "Don't put this on your nose." all Vicks Vapor Rub bottles now. I was like, damn, this shit racist, bro, because they know black people was doing that. somebody snitched. I think it was like Herman Cain or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Somebody told Clyburn, and Clyburn went and told Kamala, and Kamala got it
Man, I
on the
mean,
box now.
so let's get back to the episode, bro. Because I don't like you just sitting here slandering the nurses guild, bro. And our fine medical staff, bro.
Yo, man, I'm telling you, it was crazy. It was crazy. But nah, I mean, just trying to wrapping it up, Mike. Like I don't know what they're gonna do. Well, I feel like this whole episode really was just a building point to Letty telling this white woman that we took magic away from all
Yeah,
white
from
people.
white. That's why it's black girl magic now, because white women don't have it no more.
I know, but then you kill Tick, and like, I mean, like, then what? Like, then what is the show now?
I mean, when you think about it, man, like, I mean, if we're gonna be honest, like, Tick was the least interesting part of the show, man. He was,
Mike, I will not allow you to slander Tick.
like, man, let's
Tick
be
had
honest.
the faces. He
was
he
too
got the
righteous,
blood.
man. He was like Montrose, man. He was a little Montrose-y, and he wasn't interesting enough. He was heterosexual with Montrose, man. He whined all the time like Montrose. Just like everything you said reminded him of when Montrose. He used to have too many flashbacks of Montrose with his belt, man.
So we're left with a single black mother, two single black mothers, and a gay daddy. That's what we're going with, right?
Grandfather.
A gay grandfather.
Yeah.
And so, like,
and a Camijo.
And the Camijo, and
did she live? Was she still living? Did Camijo make it through?
Yeah, she's still there. She wasn't doing nothing. I'm like, fam, like, you got
she could have been whipping out them tails. I'm still mad about how stingy she was with tail magic.
But I'm really puzzled by this whole end scene. Like, this whole end scene just didn't make sense.
Yeah,
I felt like it could have been avoided.
It might make sense to people. Like, I don't understand the little tornado.
Yeah,
I don't understand why her, like, the lightning turned the dress red.
What lightning turned the dress red?
You know, when Christina came out there, she had a white dress.
Sure did.
And then the lightning struck.
Did, right? Yeah, it was dripped in blood, and then next thing you know, the whole thing is an actual dress. And it was a good one too, man. She went
but her face was clean though. Like, the blood wasn't on her face. That was that pork chop blood, man.
I know, man. That was wild, man.
It seemed like Tick might be living because that pork chop clogged up his artery and he didn't bleed out. That's what I was hoping.
Yeah, so is that the fail safe?
What? The cholesterol from the pork chop saved him?
Yeah, like
that might be it, bro. Because you can't eat white people. White people will clog your arteries, man. When you eat white people.
Yeah, like he needed.
And he ate raw white people.
He ate raw white. That's literally what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was so. My next question to you was: do you think he'll come back? But he gotta come back,
bro. He ain't coming back. He's not coming back. First of all, he's probably signed on to 2-3 movies by now. And the other thing is, man, like, if they can bring Tick back, they can bring George back.
Well, not necessarily, because George didn't swallow the pork chop. I thought the pork chop was supposed to be kind of like the stone in the desk.
George died, because you remember they tried to give George one of them pork chops at the ceremony when they tried to kill Tick the first time, and George told him, "Hey, don't eat that shit," and that's why George died. Remember that?
I do remember that, but he ended up eating it anyway. I mean, later on, now this episode.
Yeah, but George didn't eat the pork chop, and that's why he died.
But what did they explain the pork chop? I know they showed it being taken out of Titus on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Like, I guess that was episode 2.
Tick had to have some of Titus and some of her, some of Christina in him for some part of the spell, man.
Yeah, but see, I was thinking that. So how make it make sense though? Like what is?
It was just in a spell, man. You got to have something. Just like they had to have. That's why the whole thing was with Ruby, to do some magic on somebody. You got to have some piece of their flesh or bone or blood or some shit like that, right? That's why they needed Christina blood. That's what Ruby got. That's what Ruby took one for the team trying to do.
So yeah, cause see, I was thinking. This is what I was thinking, Mike. And I
See, if
remember.
they'd had a nurses guild, they could have gotten some of Titus' blood, just like they got Christina's blood. But you know,
Nah, you don't want the nurses getting operating on you, bro. It probably been way worse when nobody survived. they would have gave you a damn Vicks vapor rub and a peppermint, and you'd be out of here, fam.
I just want to point out also that my question still remains. This episode proved my question again. Why are knives always so sharp on TV and in movies? Like she sliced Tick shit up with just like she basically waved it past him and his arms opened up.
I know, man. It ripped the whole thing out. Yeah, and it looked like a saw. It looked dull as fuck. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
man.
They ain't spend money on props. All of it went to the
CGI.
CGI budget. Yeah. I yeah, damn, I forgot my thoughts just that quick. But yeah, I just I was left with, just more questions than answers. But I guess to bring it full circle, at the beginning of the episode, Hannah said it's in the blood. And that's what all our grandmama say is, it's in the blood of Jesus. They covered by his blood.
Yep. And that song that they were playing at the end, man, my little children's choir, the little children's choir that I was on, we used to sing that song. We used to sing a cappella.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that shit.
Yeah.
We used to bang that shit too. But that shit used to sound good as fuck, man. It'll give you the Holy Ghost when we used to sing that shit. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all said, that gave me the Holy Ghost AF.
Yeah.
You probably couldn't cuss in church.
Nah, we didn't curse in church. I didn't curse until I couldn't curse until I was 18.
Man. So how would you rate the season?
I would rate the season an A+. They had some ups and downs. I mean, this was the only episode that I would say that wasn't good. Like every the worst episode before this one was at least still good, right?
Yeah.
Like this was utilitarian. I'm not saying it's bad. It was bad. It was utilitarian, and the thing to me, the fault lies in like there was some stuff that was in previous episodes that like they didn't even address. Like what the hell? Like again, the police. It was so much, man. Like it was so much stuff. Like the police, I guess the police just existed to spit on D to send them into the other dimension, right? Because they would have never done that if it wasn't for D.
Yeah, I felt like that was their series finale, was spitting on D, which when you kind of, I know the show don't go this deep, but when you think about the impact of the 4 little girls getting killed in Birmingham, like that was the one, that was the bridge too far,
Right?
And sparked all of the change. So maybe this was the bridge too far, spitting on D, another little girl, and then like
turning D into Lil Wayne. That was too far, man.
That was, and it took 3 episodes to get Lil Wayne out of her.
Yeah.
Wait, was it? Yeah, it was 3 episodes.
Yeah, the Carter 1 through 3.
Yeah, and because Carter 4 wasn't good, and Carter 5 was not good either. So yeah, those the three strongest Carter. I can't believe I'm riding with you on that. Oh man, but yeah, I had my gripes. But I would give it maybe a B-, just particularly because of this episode. I felt like they didn't wrap up.
It was so much, man. With like when people, I've learned that when people care about characters and care about a show, they're gonna never be happy how a season or a episode or even a whole series ends because you care about the character. That's why, like, a lot of people don't like it because Tick dead and we like Tick, right? Like, it's just like everybody didn't like the way Game of Thrones ended or The Sopranos. Or like, if there is a show where people are invested in it, they're not going to like the ending when when something bad happens to the characters.
I hear you, but I like this a little different because like I really thought that here's what I thought was gonna happen. Like I feel like this season they they wasted moments, right? I feel like if you're gonna introduce Montrose as a gay character and then show like this whole other side of life that he was privy to, that it would connect to the story in some way, like to some sort of historical element, but it only existed to show that he was gay.
No,
I
I don't think
thought
so. I disagree. I
well,
think
I'm saying, well, no, like honestly, like what, like the characters from that scene, like the bar owner and I guess the drag queens, like they didn't factor any more into the story.
maybe
That's
not the
what I'm
characters,
talking
but
about.
so those people factored into Montrose's development, and then to me, it all came like that. To me, was the only thing that was significant about it because it led back to all the way back to 1920, and like this, like the reason some of Montrose's family didn't survive was because like he was out there. That's where all of his trauma came from. That's what led to Tick was when that day when his daddy beat him and he saw his friend getting killed and he had to tuck that
Right.
car to himself. So I think that to me that had more impact on the story than a lot of the other shit. Like to
But
me, it had more impact on the story than, for instance, than this whole Camijo side. Like Camijo really had less impact on the overall story than Montrose's gayness. Montrose's gayness was central to the themes and even the character paths that people chose, right?
yeah,
Because
but well, I'm saying like what I'm saying is like I felt like they could have it, with the whole way that this played out. I feel like they could have done that anyway, while also shoring up other storylines that's going to matter going forward. Like I understand, I understand the introduction of him and his conflicts with his lifestyle and how that played. And like you said, like you just brought out a point that led him back. Like that's really the only reason why they survived was because they all came out. So that aspect, yes. But what I'm saying is like you had all of that going on, right? And you took a trip to was it Boston earlier in the show?
what,
When they had the Gary Indiana Jones episode, was that in Boston?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you go all the way to Boston. Everybody comes back except Tree. And I thought Tree was gonna step in and I don't know, factored some way and he end up showing up Deus Ex Machina and then he end up getting killed and Tick live or something. But like eventually they got to bring this man back. Otherwise, it's gonna be like on Empire when they left Courtney
Well,
Love
see,
in the bathroom.
again, to me, man, all of those characters, like some of those characters, to me, exist like for a plot reason, right? Like as a writer, I see like Tree existed for the sole to plant the the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
conception that your daddy might be, your daddy might be gay,
Right,
right?
right, right. I mean, I'm
Right.
saying like I
But it
get
was
that.
like the police, like I don't like there was certain people in there that was just in there for no reason. And then they gave them this intricate plot line
Right. Because like
that
we didn't understand Lancaster's connection to everything. All we knew was he was a part of this particular chapter. And
Right.
like, yeah, I mean, so now going forward, you got Letty in charge of the book. Are we to assume that I guess next season picks up with the baby being born and like, I mean, like then what?
I
You
think
know what I'm saying?
I think you move a few years forward into the civil rights era and they doing magic in the civil rights era.
That'd be dope. That'd be
Yeah.
dope. I just wanted to have a payoff. I mean, I one thing I loved about the show was, and you know, both of us shared this love was just the tying into Black history. Because it's very delicate. Like you can only you got to be real delicate with our history, man. Because like a lot of the stuff, as we pointed out over the course of reviewing this show, like a lot of that stuff is still going on.
And a
So
lot of it
and
is,
those
and it's also filled with trauma that you got to be delicate
mm-hmm.
with it, man. But I think that would be cool though, right? Like let's say, like letting them use that magic to like, because you don't know, like they could be in Alabama next, trying to fuck with these motherfuckers, like Bull Connor.
What if uh
Like how we know Bull Connor wasn't in the Sons of Adam.
Bull Connor, I would like to see them talk about the two gunshot wounds that Dr. King had. It was one that came from the bushes and one that was seemingly up close, and tie that into, you know, something. You know what I mean? Uh
Or, or you know, tied into just a crazy random man walking into the church and killing his daddy.
right,
You know,
right. Yeah, like folks don't
like
know
it's
that actually
real.
happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of stories that you can tell from that era. You know,
I
you
ain't gonna
could
lie though, Mike. It's only so far you can go with that. Like I don't like I don't want this show to exist to be like, aha, white people, look what you did here, look what you did there. I mean, not saying that's what it is, but like, I
But
don't
see,
know, like
I
some of that
think you
stuff.
do it with the like. I think the way they did it this year, right, was that they were telling a story that existed in history, and you can't tell a story that existed in 1950 and not tell the story of Emmett Till, like not even make it part. They didn't make it part of the story. It was like, oh, this thing was happening at
Yeah,
this time. And the truth is, man, like if it is a story that takes part in America's past about Black people, it could be about magic, but you can't tell that story without telling how shitty white people have always been throughout our history. So you don't even got to focus on the white people. It is just that if you tell a story that happens in America's past, you can't not include the history.
yeah. It was this episode had a lot of I mean, well, not this episode, but the show and the characters are very insulated and siloed to the greater impact of what was occurring throughout history. Like when you look at all of those Black people and how they were affected by Emmett Till, it would be nice, or it would have been hopeful for them to know that there was these Black uh, Magic the Gathering freedom fighters out there,
Yeah.
like trying to make the world better.
Yeah, like what if they
But
just go, like if they jump forward like 10 years and the child 10 years old, and now D is a teenager and she's trying to teach the kid magic and all of that, and then you got Montrose and all of them,
yeah,
and just in the background going on in the city is like the Panthers being founded. Like you're gonna have to mention that, right?
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, you could tell that a magic story And like you got to tell her when they busted Fred Hampton house and shot 99 bullets in him. You know
And
what I'm
only
saying?
and only he got shot. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Like you can't under or overstate that.
yeah.
No, I just closing it out. I think that the two takeaways was the answers in the blood, and then I wonder if by Letty saying what she said about we got the magic now, does that send a ripple throughout time? And then that is the lens in which we explore the show, is with Black people getting the magic as their reparations.
Nah, man. I think it's the lens is white people trying to steal back their magic. They always been trying to steal our magic. Like that's literally the theme of America.
Yeah, yeah. Well, man, we're gonna see, man. We gotta when you think it'll be back? 2022, 23?
I'm gonna say 2022.
2022. All right. Well, this has been your boy, comedian Brandon Stuckey.
This is Michael Harriet.
We are the Real Negus. Thank y'all for checking us out this season. We'll be back with more, so stay tuned to the channel. This is Dak Craft.
Dak Craft.
Dak Craft.
Dak Craft.
It's the Real Negus, and we back.
And leaving.
And leaving that craft.
Dak Craft.
Dak Craft.
Dak Craft.
HBO had a show about blacks.
And it was not whack.
Peace.
We out.